Testing. Can you hear? Yes. Finally, now you can hear me. Fucking thing. Say good day, everyone. So, yeah. The topic of this stream is hello YouTube. I should really start with that. The topic you're live with pokewood, watching me live. The topic is how I was scammed. It's a really good story, so let me just bring it up. Waiting for it to come up. Oh god. Come on, it doesn't take forever to load a fucking website. So I don't have to set up beforehand, everyone. Maybe I could bring it up here. Yep, got it. But I can't. What? Sign in. Use Facebook. Yeah, here. Hey, George Dungle. Welcome to the stream. So I've got it here. I've got it all on my phone. I'll tell you about it. So, you all know how I moved to Perth at the beginning of this year. Well, I had to get my, whoops, a little bit too loud. I had to get my car transported from Townsville, and so I had to get my car transported from Townsville. Somehow, I couldn't drive it down, because I know it's 500 kilometers to a tank. And there's no way it was going to get across the Nullarbor between South Australia and Western Australia. So we looked up a car transportation company, which was all well and good. My dad booked it because he was paying for it. And I wanted my car when I was back at my old place. This was back in January, on the 29th of January. He booked it in to get delivered. Booked it in to get picked up and delivered. But because the floods were happening around about that time, the car didn't get picked up until the 16th of February, I believe. But it was booked on the 29th of January, sorry. During that time period, I had to get a rental car, which cost $1,000. So I went back to Townsville after the floods because I was just checking up on how everything was, and my car got picked up on the Wednesday I was there, the 16th of February. I'm not going to tell anyone company names, or, well, I guess I could allude to it, but Don't sue me because nothing saying this is false anyway. And yeah, they picked it up. The guy came out with a dog out of this pickup truck, delivery truck, I should say, or transportation truck. And my car was on there a few hours. Big red flag because he said the person who owned the really expensive car basically said that he was stealing, that she thought that he was stealing his car. Should have been a big red flag there. But we let the car go on, and we were told at least 2 weeks. And he even said he was going to the Sydney or Melbourne depot for the company. And I'll tell you the company name right at the end. Just stick around. And yeah. So he was going to Sydney to drop my car off, which is fine. Then I get in contact with come back, got a rental car because I needed the rental car because I need to drive around. And so I get the rental car. It's $1,000 in total for the rental car, the first rental car, which I said a little bit earlier. And yeah, I kept the rental car. I had to move from my old place, so I used the rental car. Yeah, you know that. But yeah, but my car never arrived. It literally never arrived within the 2 weeks I was told that it would be arriving. Then I let it go and I let it go because the company kept saying, early next week, late this week, early next week, late this week, every week in March. And I just let it go I just let it go because the car was going to be there, and I'm like, good. Then I got some bad news about one of my dogs who died. Well, didn't die, was put down because he had to be put down. And I went back up, put the rental car back into the rental place. It cost, let me just bring this up because I can tell you exactly how much it cost. That's May, that's my rental damage, virtual car rental receipt. Here we go. If I look at it, yep, it cost me $1,243 for the first rental car. Second rental car cost about $800 to $1,000. Excuse me for 2 seconds, I'll be right back. Alright everyone, I'm back. So, to continue. Hey, I went back to town, as you all know, to, before I went to Japan, which is when I put my car, the rental car back in, and it cost me $1,243 in total for the car. Any cents? No sense. Because we had to extend it because they wouldn't give me my car back. When I didn't deliver my car while I was in my old place. So then I went to Japan and I had a good time. I came back to Perth. Of course, I'm back here. And I still hadn't received my car. I rang the company up, asked. So I rang the company up, asked where my car was. And basically, it was still quite a while away. Now this was warming up 3 months of it being, 3 months of it being delivered within the hands of the company, which I'll tell you the name after. So they screwed me over. So I had to get another rental car. This time, putting up the price of it now. Let me just go back. Yeah. Cost me in total $886.60 for the second car rental that I had to get. This was while I was trying to fight the company to get my car, in my sense. But that's a story for another. That's gonna be told later. So I looked online at reviews of the company just to make sure that they were going through what they should be going through. That nobody else has gone through what I went through. Just to check if it was a one-off occurrence, because that would be fine if it was. And I found this website called Product Review. Found the site with reviews on it. And a lot of people were going through a lot of heartache with the company. A lot of delayed cars and everything. So, yeah. I ended up calling them and kept calling them every single day pretty much to make sure my car got here, and it finally did after 17 weeks. Or should I say 14 weeks in their delivery, in their hands, 17 weeks since we paid for it. It cost $2,000 to get my car delivered. It's cheap according to the other ones, but there were cheaper ones. So it was middle price, I should say. But it's $2,000 to get it delivered through this company that took 3 months, 14 weeks, to get my car delivered. And even then, I was told it was in their Melbourne depot then, and I believed it because it's the only thing I was told. Literally, it's the only thing I was told throughout the entire video, throughout the entire time. So yeah, then I put a review up of my experience. Nothing is a lie, but I will admit some information, so I remain anonymous. Well, technically it's not anonymous, you can see me, and you can see what I am saying on the video, and you know where I am. But yeah, so I'll just read out my review, because nothing in it is a lie. Published 2 months ago. Well, so my car was picked up from Townsville just after the February 2019 floods, which I allowed for the time difference delay because of the flooding. And I was under the assumption that it would be delivered to Perth within 2 weeks, as I was told that it would. Well, was my assumption wrong? 14 weeks later, I finally got my car. Apparently, according to the company, they have my car with thousands of dollars of personal items, including an iMac, 50 to 60 movies, roughly. I'd say about 50, 20 to 50, more likely, but yeah. An eraser, a picture, like a painted picture, a Christmas tree, plush toys, and a pillow and a blanket. If you must know what was in the car. Apparently, if I said it was in Melbourne, and it has been there for roughly for the full, pretty much 3 months at the time of writing. Originally, I gave them 2 weeks as per what I assumed before calling them to be told it was in transit, which obviously it wasn't. But here's a little thing, as you'll find out. I'll tell you a little bit later what I was told when I got it picked up, and how my car was when I picked it up. As per what I assumed before calling them, to be told it was in transit, assuming that it was to Perth. Then called a week later to be told it would arrive by the end of the week. So I called at the end of the week, and when it didn't arrive, and was told it would be early next week. And still it did not arrive. I gave them a month while I was in Japan. And it still hadn't arrived in Perth by then, as I thought it would. Called them up in early May, to find out the car was apparently in Melbourne, because their transit vehicle had broken down. And they told me that they would call me today or on Monday. Sorry, that they would call me when I was writing this today. When I was writing this, or after the weekend when I write this. They call me back, with news about them flying their driver to Perth to pick up the transit vehicle, and then drive that back to Melbourne, and then unload, reload, and drive them back to Perth with my car and the vehicle. Which I don't know if it happened or not. I don't know what was going on. I was told it happened, but that's coming up. From reviews I have read on this website, it is apparent that everyone has had their car delayed with delivery, has had to get police and lawyers involved, and also has had damage to the cars to the point where it is written off. That is exactly right, because not to me, but to other people on there, one person had a buggy and it got totally destroyed to the point where they couldn't drive it no more because of the damage. For me, what happened is I spent $1,000, $2,000, about $2,000 on vehicles, on rental cars, because I needed cars to get around Perth, as it is a major city and I need to get places. This has it definitely hurt my bank severely, and I've also required to use taxis and Ubers to get around. Yes, when I did not have a rental car. Cost me hundreds more in costs, which it did. Um, yeah. At the time, I was worried that my car, along with the items, I put in for transit, as I had to fly to Perth because I couldn't drive it, as you know, are either damaged, which my car kind of was, but not the items inside, luckily. They weren't lost, but I did drive my car around 500 to 700 kilometers. Hey Siri, 500 kilometers in miles.
500 kilometers is 310.69 miles.
Hey Siri, 700 kilometers in miles.
700 kilometers is 434.96 miles.
Between 330 miles to 435 miles that I had driven in my car. Well, it did arrive, but took a long time for it to arrive. Everyone I was talking to about it was telling me it should take about 2 weeks to get my car transported from Townsville to Perth. Not fucking 14 weeks. Another thing I asked is why would it take 14 weeks to get a car 4,822 kilometers. Sorry, let me rephrase that. And I'm not mentioning what I said. Yeah, I told the transit vehicle was fixed. Well, I called them back up and got told the vehicle was fixed. They were sending someone to Perth to pick up the transit vehicle and take it to Melbourne to unload, reload, and come back to Perth with my car. And my car would be the first in the truck. The guy also said he would contact everyone, blah. No, he never did. Never did that. And that it would take 2 weeks to arrive. It'll take 2 weeks to arrive, but it only took about a week or so. When they finally got around to it. Yeah, at the time I was looking at getting legal action because I realized I was scammed. Turns out because I wasn't given an invoice, which is not my fault, they misspelled the email address. As it was paid over the phone, I do not have a legal, well I do now because I finally got it. And also because I didn't take pictures of what was in the car, everything was in the car, so it's fine. I don't know if any. Yeah, I spoke to Consumer Rights in Perth, or in WA, sorry. Western Australia, da 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 da. Hopefully my car can be delivered, da 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 da. Yeah, my only option was to wait for it to be delivered, which could have taken an extra week, month, year, decade. It could have taken a century even. Might never have shown up, might have been stolen. I don't know. I didn't know at the time, but I waited out and I finally got it. I hadn't for call back from the company at the time. From when my car was put on truck last night. Yeah, they did put it on. They did not call back. Yeah, they did not call back. Spoke to them 2 hours ago, and they stated that they found out what car was on our vehicle. I started to talk to drivers about it before calling customers up about it. Last week I was assured the full cars were put on their vehicle. There are users who are giving positive reviews. Yeah, not allowed to say that. Yeah. Yep, so apparently my car was in transit to Perth with the quarantine paperwork done. They never gave me an expected time of arrival for the car, but it looks like it was coming and I was right. Then this big issue came about. Gonna tell you that I was told to take down my review, product review. And I found it to be censorship because you're allowed to put a review up as long as nothing is wrong with it. Nothing was wrong with it. And then, as I said, product review in the ACCC do not allow companies to pressure. They basically, well, I agreed to take it down because I didn't want any issues. People into removing their reviews. Then I said, secondly, my car's arriving on the weekend. Never did arrive on the weekend. And then apparently changing names, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Then here, apparently because of quarantine, my car wouldn't be delivered that weekend, as promised, but will be delivered tomorrow morning. It was never delivered. That's one thing. The company gave me the number of the Perth car manager, and according to him, the cars are still 6 hours away at the quarantine and won't be able to be picked up until tomorrow afternoon, or until the day after. Avoiding that, with them stating that they will possibly make up any sorry, yeah, shouldn't say that, but yeah, I felt like it. Then 29 days ago, finally got my car. Has a few scratches on the front bumper, but other than that, it is fine. Very dirty, but guess that is normal. Had to pick it up from the depot in Perth, 45 minutes away, and had to get petrol. Looks like they might have driven it just a little. Yes, they did, 500 to 700 kilometers. I have a good memory. If I don't take photos, I have a good memory. The car wouldn't start, so I jumped it. I lost the key. I gave him a key and I lost it. Lucky I had a spare. Luckily it wasn't major damaged. Everything was inside the car and wasn't touched. Thank God, because I was worried about that. I'm still not. Yeah. Because that's allowed to go through to get my car. I'm very glad it wasn't damaged like other cars. Yeah. If you don't go with them, final update question mark. It wasn't my final update. Found some other damage to my car. A small dent near my back right wheel. A small dent in the front of the car. Both rear wheels are missing the wheel arches, the plastic under the car and above the wheel. Another thing that did was drive my car 500 700 kilometers while it was with them. I can tell because my car had only just gone over 10,000 kilometers last I had it, and now it's just 10,958 kilometers. I'm giving them a 200 leeway as I could be off by that. This should be the last update now. Yeah, should be last, but it wasn't. Then a Australian news program called A Current Affair put out a big article about this company, the owners of the company, scamming for over a decade with different scams. So, yeah, this is just the latest scam. Yeah, and then 20 days ago, I received my invoice. It was sent to a wrong spelling of the email address, and secondly, it had spelling mistakes all through the invoice, which wasn't my fault, wasn't anyone's fault. Yeah. It was $1,947 I gave him. Yep, and then 7 days ago, wasn't 7 days ago, it was 12. Hey Siri, how many days ago was the 14th of June?
It was 12 days ago.
Yeah, 12 days, like I thought. Here's the thing. I received a call on Friday, well, 14th of June. I do have it here. Let it pop up. Yeah, got it here. I'll go through what they said. Yeah. The time was at 12:23 p.m. on the 14th of June was when they called me. The company. The call was apparently recorded by the company. Apparently, there's no way to prove that it was actually recorded. Let me just move this out so I can see it. Yeah. There's a female voice, no name was given up with the voice. When they called me, they said, "Hello, do you know who this is?" And like, no. And she said, "Do you recognize the voice?" I'm like, no, I don't. And that got me a little bit worried. So then they went on to say that my review that I put up on product review was apparently cyberbullying, even though there was nothing wrong in the nothing wrong in the review. So technically I'm allowed to have it up. And it can be classed as jail time, cyberbullying, which is only 5 years or 2 years in jail. I just written down. Yeah, 5 years for cyberbullying, even though it wasn't cyberbullying. They then went to. They then wanted me to honestly give them a review of the service. To which the fact I told them that the service was fine as my car eventually arrived, which is true. But that was a lie because I am pissed off at them for how long it actually took. The fact that my car was driven and a little bit damaged. They then trying to find out why I was angry at them for their service. And I told them that it took 3 months, 14 weeks for my car to arrive, and I didn't receive my invoice from them until after the car was received. They responded with questions asking me if they seemed apologetic towards me when I didn't receive my car, to which I told them I wasn't sure because I can't tell if they were apologetic or anything. I don't remember. They then asked me if they were harsh to me, and I said no, because they weren't. They then tried to blame the invoice not arriving to me because it was sent to my father. Now, on the invoice itself, it is misspelled, including the email in which it was sent to. So I told them that it was misspelled, and the company replied asking whose fault was it, trying to lay the blame on the misspelling on me, even though I had no contact with the misspelling, anything to do with the invoice. I told them that it was their fault because they had multiple mistakes in the invoice. They kept saying they sent it to my father, to which I replied that he never received it because of the misspelling of his email address. They then went on to tell me that they were threatening or are threatening legal action against me and were asking about who I was in contact with about all this, everything that was going on. They rattled off a few different names of people who were on the product review page, and I told them I wasn't in contact with anyone other than a user by the name of Leo, which is kind of a lie. But technically, that's all I got in contact with after this. They then asked what she had told me, and I told them that she'd just been through a similar thing to me, and that she was trying to help others who were going through what she had gone through. They started accusing me of cyberbullying and hurting their company and other companies which apparently have no affiliation to them, which they do, but they're hiding it. Nothing's come of this, so I can talk about it. They kept mentioning to me that I was a smart young person and I don't want to see anything happen to me, but were warning me, even though they basically told me there was legal action, and it was out of their hands with everything. It was out of their hands. They already got it to the legal department, and it's out of their hands, as they kept telling me. But then they said they're warning me. They kept saying if I post about this call on the product review site, or excuse me, or tell anyone, that things will be worse for me. They rattled on about how this user that I was in contact with was lying to me about what she went through, and how, because of what I stated, ruined their entire credibility and the other person's credibility. According to them, their company is a family-owned company, and I ruined it for them, and the other company is ran by a person who has a 6-month-old baby, and I ruined it for them, which never happened, because none of them have family and none of them have children, or none of them have a 6-month-old baby to begin with. So there's the lie. I can't prove that, but that's what I was told. But I ruined both their credibilities. The call ended up with me saying sorry, like basically saying, sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't realize what I was doing. Basically begging them not to take legal action against me. I was literally shaking because I was basically very worried about what was going on. During the call, they did ask me my age, to which I told them, not even thinking that I shouldn't tell them at the time. I was basically in shambles. I was a complete wreck after the call. Top it off, not long after that, I had my very first inspection in this property. Routine inspection, and I was a mess. And it hurts to even mention it anymore. Then, 7 days ago, I got on a product review and started posting a thing about my experience with AAA, with the company, which you now know. bringing in the lawyers and everything, their lawyers, which they don't have a department. It's only a 21-year-old law school graduate who got laughed at in court. So this is what I wrote. I received a call on Friday, which is basically 2 Fridays ago, basically threatening me with legal action. According to my lawyers, free legal advice, they said you had to put all legal action in writing, not over the phone. Technically, they did make me nervous after the call, but now it's over, I'm fine. Basically, I got my phone traced and contacted my father and legal advice and the police. Yeah, as I said, the number will be traced to call me again. Since I have my phone being traced, and I will get police and lawyers involved, I will. These guys are acting out because they are being exposed, which they are. But you know what? Nothing being stated is lies, so go ahead and get your 21 to 23-year-old lawyer involved. So blah blah blah. You could have that in court, but don't do that. No boyfriend. And to be honest, after your call, I had a good long talk to my lawyers, and I'm allowed to put my review up here, as long as nothing is lies, which nothing was, and nothing is a lie in my review. You did tell me to take down my review before, and then you classified a call on Friday, on 2 Fridays ago, on the 14th, as not being a threat when you had me feeling threatened and fearful by their call. According to the legal definition of bullying, because I felt fearful, you can receive 5 years in jail. Just think about that before you call me again. And then I basically said, send all further contact in writing, blah blah blah, and I'm not answering no call ID calls anymore. And if they do call me, I'll just get it traced. And I said, goodbye, AAA. P.S. It's not classified as cyberbullying because it's not. Just stating out the facts. But that was when I was pent up with rage because I wanted to get results from what was happening, what happened. But I couldn't get anything out of them. Technically, the laws in Australia, let me close that. The laws in Australia favourite the perpetrators rather than the victims in regards to this. So, yeah. Excuse me. There is nothing they can do. They don't have my address. They don't have my email. No, they don't have my email. They technically don't have any information about me except for the house address in Townsville, which is my father's. And technically, they did call my father before calling me, and basically was trying to get me on the phone. They didn't have my contact details, they only have my father's, so fuck them. But then they did try and contact me after, and I answered, and this is where what happened. I just wanted to get off my chest that I and my father, or me and my father and I, were scammed out of $1,943. If there is any way I can get my... No, I have no evidence of the car, what it looked like beforehand. I have no evidence of what the car looked like before I got it on the thing. I got no Nothing about how long I had the car there for, like how much was on the kilometer or get a mileage of the car. And I didn't even have any evidence of anything else put in the car at the time, so nothing I can do now. Literally, there's nothing I can do. I wasn't sent anything, I wasn't given anything, I don't have anything. So basically, they've won because I have no evidence of anything. And it's my fault. Because if I had evidence, they'd be going to court. Or, yeah, I'd probably get lawyers involved. But I was keeping on top of them with everything because I needed my car, I just needed it. And they weren't giving it to me. So basically, I'm in a lot of doo-doo. My father's down about $2,000 roughly. And my car has been basically, well, it works, so I just put it out there. My car works. But I never see retribution for those miles or kilometers, the mileage that's been done on my car, and the damage that just my minor damage that was done to my car. Other than that, I'm basically up shit's creek with nothing I can do. And I want to get this call, and I want to smash it in their face somehow. I get them destroyed, but I'm deciding to just walk away from it all and say it was a learning experience. And next time, before I give out any money or do anything major, that's like not going to a supermarket or a store and buying merchandise. If I'm going to a local store, better check it beforehand. If I'm going to get services done, I'm going to check it. If I'm going to get anything done, I'm going to check it on the product review site because I just take it as a learning experience. But my God, my review's now taken down. I'm iffy on putting it back up because I don't want any trouble. They don't know that I have a YouTube channel or anything, so I'm safe, kind of safe about talking about it here. But my God, would I ever not learn from this? I'm fucking telling you the truth. I am learning from this. Two seconds. Never mind. I have learned from this, and it's finally the fucking last time I'll ever trust anybody with anything of mine. Literally the fucking final last time. I am never gonna put anything up or let anyone do anything because that $2,000 could have been used more wisely. Also, I wouldn't have been able to put my bags in the car. If everything I want to transport it, that's why I caught a flight as well. Or else I probably would have driven it. But yeah, there's no way I could have driven it anyway. Would have been way too expensive, and I'm just down on my luck with everything. But yeah, it's a learning experience. I learned from it. Yeah. Let me just put that down. Topic 1. So I have time to talk about another topic. Whoops, bring it back up, bring it back up, bring it back up. Yep, now. Now we're going to be talking about, with topic 2, living in Perth and how I'm coping. But before I do that, let me take a short intermission between now and then. And I'll get back to you in about a few minutes. Okay? I am back, everyone. So, this chair's broken. So let me sit back and let me lean. Yeah. So, topic 2. Living in Perth and how I'm coping. Well, as you all know, I got the first unit that I was in Chuat Hill in January, but I got it in December last year. Is when the forms were done. The place wasn't available until January 20th, something like that. So I didn't move in until then, until 25th, which is technically when it was available. But I came up here a few days earlier, around about a week earlier or so, just so I can get used to everything over here and do anything that needs to be done. Now I'm just going to go through. Whoops, none of that. Don't need that up no more. So I got that for a year, right? Until January 24th, 2020. As you all know, I had to move over to South Perth, where I am now. Yeah, you heard me. Come and kill me. Come and steal from me and kill me, please. But yeah, don't do that. Don't go and do that, please. Um, yeah. Where was I? Yeah, I had to move to South Perth, which was all well and good. But then, I was happy living here in Perth until I came back from Japan. Literally, because I had so much fun in Japan that I am going back at the end of the year, which be another topic which I could talk about. But yeah, I was so excited about being in Japan, and I so enjoyed Japan that I didn't even give a second thought to being here. And then basically, once I came back, went back to town for about a week, for about a few days, just to see the family again, or the family, or however you want to say it, again, and then come back. Then this whole shit with AAA started. With my car, finally got it delivered, and that's not a problem. We just talked about it. If you want to find out, go back in the video. And then I got my apparently someone was throwing glass bottles against the walkway outside the walkway for the unit complex. Now there's this wog, I'd like to say it, there's this wog, fucking asshole, with his cat that lives in this unit complex. I met him when I moved in, and he said he's been living here for 5 years. He asked me if I like cats. I don't like his cat, and I don't like him either. He apparently put in a complaint to the strata about me because someone was throwing bottles against the glass bottles against the concrete walkway, and I was smashing, and apparently he cut himself. I don't know, but apparently he cut himself, so I don't know. And then he comes up to me 2 weeks ago, basically telling me, hey, you're the one who's been throwing the bottles, aren't you? I'm like, no, because I never did any of it, except for one. It's the first one, and then I never did any of the others. Fucking copycats. And then he basically got down on me and said, you're the one who did it. We put in a report. If you find out anything, let us know. And I'm like, but I didn't do anything. And I just walked off because I went out to get food from the BP petrol station that we have 800 meters down the road, and he came up and talked, basically confronted me about it. I haven't noticed anything since, but he said the workers who were working on the concrete, they were working while I was doing the Pokemon business meeting live stream. Back in May. So late May, early June. And yeah, sorry, I'm just checking something here. And then he decided to then he decided to talk to me about it. And like, yeah, no. So basically confront me, like I said. And I said, no, it wasn't me, because technically I only did one. And then he kept saying, kept being cleaning up glass on the floor. I'm like, that on the walkway. I'm like, that's not me. And it's not. Nobody can prove otherwise. And yeah. And then on the same day, I got the call from the threatening call about legal action, which was June 14th. Later that night, I looked out the window because I was shaking about everything that had gone on during the day, and I just wanted to calm down. Then there was noise outside. I went to look to see what the noise was. I looked at the sliding door, and then I couldn't see who it was. And I saw someone go, whoops. I saw someone go, whoops, let me just show you. I saw someone go, and I'm like, crap. So I walked away from the window, went and basically heard more noise. So I went looking again because I was worried that maybe one of AAA or one of the company's goons were in Perth and found out where I lived and was coming to do something to my car. Then the WOG, yeah, he dresses like a bogan but looks like a WOG. So he's a WOG but looks like a bogan. And he came up to the door and started confronting me about looking at the window and if I had any problem with him walking his cat. Which I fucking do. Because you don't fucking walk in front of my yard. And you don't talk on a phone while you're walking your fucking cat. Especially when there's fucking neighbors around. You're meant to be keeping the noise down in a fucking unit complex for fucking reason. Sorry for my language, but I'm just fucking infuriated with him. And then he goes on, well, I was just walking my cat. That's the reason my noise was down. Like, okay. And so he walked off and let it go, and I just shut the door and locked it. And yeah, during this period actually, and then here's the thing: when I came back from Japan, the neighbors on Unit 6 were having parties every fucking Saturday night, were making very loud noise. And of course, that is against the laws because it's going past midnight. Any noise that goes past midnight is against the law. So I put in a report finally on a Saturday, and they fucking stopped. They freaking stopped at the noise at like 3 a.m. They woke me up, so yeah. And I didn't do it again, which is good for them. And then but yeah, now the WOG that looks like a bogan, If you wanted to know, a bogan is a redneck for you Americans. Like lower class citizens. And I'm sorry if I'm offensive for saying wog, but that's the only way to describe him. He's Italian. Looks like an Italian someone. He's married to or has a girlfriend that looks like she's from Thailand. She's Asian. But yeah. Um I don't like any of them. And during this and they're like six in the wog are friends. So if anything happened to fucking Woghead or the bogan idiot, the cat, Six would team up with him. Unless he wanted to remain impartial. Which I don't think he would because he's a friend. Secondly, during the period of all this, 2 weeks ago I was feeling very, how do I put it, lonely. It's not cabin fever, it's like feeling lonely. I don't want to be here no more in Perth. I mean, I can live here, but I just don't think I could manage living here on my own, especially with everything going on. I just want to get out of all this and go back to living elsewhere. I mean, it's my neighbours. My neighbours are fuckwits. You heard me. All of them, except for the old people. Oh yeah, don't let me understate the Indians with the baby or the Chinese with the kids. Yeah, you heard me. But the old people are fine. They just mind their own business. Most people here mind their own business, except for the fuckwit Bogan. And basically number 6. But yeah. He's out there now. I hope you can fucking hear me. But yeah, I just want. I can't live in this unit no more. I'm feeling trapped between not having money to do anything, to go out and do anything because I need food and the bills, or and the neighbours between having no money because of bills and the neighbours being assholes. There's nothing I can do. Literally nothing I can do. So last week I went back to Townsville and I had literally it's a lot better living in Townsville with my father than living in Perth. I but even my father doesn't have money to help me out and move. I mean, even now, once I got back on Sunday, no, once I got back on Monday, sorry. Once I got back on Monday, I was sad that I was back here. I, I don't want to live here. I just don't want to live here. It's not that I can't live here, it's just that I don't want to. I try to put on when I call my father, when I call my dad, and basically I try to put on a brave face and basically tell him that I'm fine living here and try and push that aside. But deep down, I don't want to live here no more. I am literally terrified of my neighbors and my family, and well, not terrified, but anxious. Not anxious. How would I put it? Worried that something might happen between me and the WOG or number 6, and I'd be left here with no one. And my dad did say he'd come down to visit me, but it's like every time I want to see my family, I have to go up and see them. They can't come down. So it's better for me to just move back home. In the long scheme of things, it's better for me to just move back home. And I'm going to call Dad straight after I finish this and let him know how I'm feeling. I mean, I know nothing would happen. Because if anything did, I'd call the police. Sorry for shouting random interviews, but I'm just letting people know. But if anything did, I'd call the police and let them deal with it because I can't. I can't no more. I can't live here no more. I know I've got to until March. That's right, because this unit is rented until March 2020. But I can't just stay here. I can't. It's deep down, I know that I should. I put everything past me. But deep down, I'm 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 not in the mood to live on my own. I definitely not here. One, the noise. Two, the neighbors. And three, I am literally lonely on my own. Oh, Alan. Hi, Alan. You missed everything. Firstly, I talked about how I scammed. Now I'm talking about how I'm feeling living in Perth and how lonely I am. When did you comment, Alan? I want to know. Oh, there's no way to find out when you commented, so I just say hi. Anyway, two neighbors are fuckwits. Like right next door to me in number 6 is a guy with tats who's a fucking bogan. Yeah, you should, Alan. You should definitely come visit. You should totally come and visit. Well, in number 6, unit number 6, you've got a guy like a mid to late 20s, maybe early 30s. He's tatted. He's got a girlfriend. He's a bitch. Well, she's spoken to me. She said hi, but that's all she fucking said to me. And above me, I've got a very fucking fat guy who every time he walks, it's like. Well, it's not as bad as the freaking early mid 20 teen, early to mid 20 girls I had above me at Duart Hill. And then I've got this wog who walks his cat everywhere. I mean, who the fuck walks the fucking cat? And second, and basically he's confronted me twice, and I feel awkward, like why did something happen between him or number 6 and me? And I don't want that to happen. And now I'm just feeling very lonely. And in a position where, well, it was before the stuff happened. It was around about the 12th of June, I was feeling like I could move over to Japan. I was like, I don't want to live here no more because of everything. And the reason why I say I'd move to Japan is because Japan is basically my home away from home. It's where I can be myself. It's where I am myself. I've basically got to put on a fake persona here. I'm living on my own because I've got to make sure everyone's happy with me and everything, but I can't be myself. Literally, I can move back home to Townsville and that'd be fine. But I can't put up with the neighbours here. But I have to stay until March at the latest. Sorry, at the earliest. March 11th. So good on you, Perth. You got me into March 11th at the earliest. But then again, I get a disability pension, so my Centrelink payments will stop if I move over to Japan. Then I can't support myself over there. But literally, Japan is the only place I could be myself. Because they can't fucking understand me. And it's where I feel like I belong. Japan is literally where I feel like I belong the most. Other than living at home, Japan is where I feel like I belong the most. And I notice people here who literally care about me and all that. Like you, Alan, one of my friends who technically last time I saw him, other than in Perth, was back in Townsville, back in high school. And basically, yeah, excuse me, I just miss living on my own. Well, I am living on my own, but I don't feel like I belong here. It just doesn't feel right. Deep down, I know that I shouldn't be here, but I have told my father all this, and that I was feeling lonely and all that, and he put it down to cabin fever. That I should get out more often. Yeah, fucking right. I have no fucking money to get out. I just don't belong in Perth. I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy living here. But I just don't feel like I belong. I mean, maybe if I grew up here, I might have felt like I belonged, but I didn't. It's basically me being here on my own. But there's nothing anyone can do. I definitely like talking about everything that's going on, and that's why I brought it back so that I could let everyone know what was going on. But yeah, all right. So Alan's trying to get me to change topic, which I will. Just to recap, the scam. Well, I was getting my car delivered from Townsville to Perth back in February. So it was booked in January 29th. Then the Townsville floods happened. So I excused that the delivery driver was late. Then the delivery driver basically came and said that the woman that he picked up, the last car that he picked up for mine, was basically was told that he was stealing her car. Red flag. And basically they got my car on the 16th of February, wasn't delivered until the 19th, until May. It took them 3 months to get from Townsville to Perth. So, 14 weeks. And that's $2,000 out of pocket. And I was scammed out of it. As were a lot of other people. They drove my car 500 to 700 kilometers. They put minor damage on my car, including rear arches missing, dents in the car, scratches on the car, made my car very dirty, which I kind of expected. And finally, they called me up to get my review taken down from product review because apparently they classified as cyberbullying, which they said on the 14th of June. Yeah, I do need to fight, but I'm over it. Because on the 14th of June, they basically told me that they were putting legal action against me for my review. But according to product review and the ACCC, the Australian Consumer Something Commission, you are allowed to put a review up on about a company as long as nothing is a lie, and nothing there was a lie. And they basically put me down to the point where I was saying, so like basically begging them to not put legal action against me. Because that's how terrified I was once they mentioned that. Because I don't have the money for any legal action. I wish I could fight to get the money back, but there is no proof of anything. They were literally late giving me the invoice. They misspelled the email, so I checked the email that they sent it to, and it's not registered. So they would have gotten a notification it wasn't working. For starter, that didn't get sent. So they can't blame me that the invoice was wrong because my father paid for it. He was the one involved with that. I wasn't. But I had to spend about 2,000 for close to 2,100 on rental cars, 2 rental cars, one before I went to Japan and one during May when I came back from Japan until I got my car. And basically that's $2,000 out of pocket that my father is down because they screwed over. Yeah, it was. They basically are lying to me and threatened me through what they said on the 14th of June. And I was treated very unfairly because they act like they're going to call me back and tell me about. Sorry, they said they'll call me back and without doing the entire thing and tell me information, which I never did until I got in contact with them. And even then, they still didn't tell me the information. So basically, they were scamming me and I couldn't do anything about it. Because one, I have no photographic evidence of the condition of the car beforehand. I have no photographic evidence of any of the merchandise I had inside the car, like all the items I had inside the car. But I've got everything from that, so that doesn't need to be brought up. I don't have any evidence that they actually drove 500 to 700 kilometers in my car. And secondly, oh, excuse me, I don't have any proof of anything. Because I trusted that my car would be in safe hands. It's a learning experience. The people that run the company, Chris, sorry, let me rephrase this. I kind of did a story 2 years, like last month or earlier this month, about the company, and the people who own the company have been doing scams for over a decade now. The entire family has been, and they're told to have paid back 55K they loaned. They got it brought down for quick settlement, and now they're only paying like $800 per week or per fortnight, so per week, towards the woman who lent them 55K. Nobody knew what was going on with my car. And when I was told it was in Melbourne, when I got it picked up, he said it came from Gold Coast like that. So I don't even know where the fuck it was to begin with. And secondly, they lost my key to my car. I had a spare key at least, but they lost my key. So I don't know if they're gonna come and damage my car, steal it, or what. But Yeah. And I don't have the money to go and get my locks resequenced or whatever so that they can't access it or whatever. So that they can't access it and everything else. What I can do at the moment is just hope they don't come and find me, because the address they had on that new place, on the invoice is the old place. And I have spoken to WA Consumer Rights about this, and they basically said if your car's not, they said they gave it an estimated time for your car. If they don't deliver it, we can't do anything. You've got to get lawyers involved. And New South Wales Fair Trading got some action out to the point where I got my invoice after my car was delivered. That's where I found out there's so many spelling mistakes on it that they started blaming me on the 14th about the spelling mistakes. I mean, come on, how hard is it to spell unit? It's not INT. And the email address, yes, it's very similar spelling, and it could be mistaken, which is human mistake. But my father's name is not Nick. They got that wrong, and his email on that is Nick12345 Nick Page 1 to 9. That's not his email address. It's misspelled for starter, and it's just everything they did. I mean, other people have gone through the exact same thing I have. About 56 other people on the product review page have gone through exactly what I've gone through. Some without cars being received. Sorry, let me finish. I'll tell you in a second, Alan. Some without cars ever being received. Some with cars being completely written off from the company. There was one with a buggy. They had their car shipped with them. They used a forklift and destroyed the entire buggy, so they couldn't use it. They're threatening people to just drop them off at farms and in the middle of nowhere where they won't see the cars ever again. And secondly, you might even receive a car that's not even your own car from them. I'm not kidding. Someone on the product review site said that a car has been delivered, but it wasn't their car. And I mean, my father paid for my car to be delivered to my address. They delivered it to the Perth depot, 45 minutes away at Mundarling. Was it Mundarling? Anyway, it's up in the Perth hills. It's up in the hills. And basically, it was 45 minutes away from where I'm living. So, of course, I had to spend about $50 on a freaking Uber to get up there to pick up my car. Where's the freaking compensation for the taxis, the Ubers, and the rental cars that I had to get just so I had transportation while I was in Perth, while my car was being transported to Perth? And I'm not afraid to tell anyone the company name. It is Triple A, All Australian Auto Transporters. Originally known as Auto Transporters, now known as MV transporters. And that's not all. The person who was scammed out of $55,000, she went to the government to find out what could be done. There's nothing she can do. She's been to the police, she's been to the government, she's been to her local member of parliament, she's been to everyone that she could get. She's been to court. Basically, all you can do is basically go and get them, go and get them, the owner of the company bankrupt. But that's like $20,000 to do, and she doesn't have the money to do that. So there's nothing we can do. It's like the laws in Australia don't even help the victims. They help the perpetrators. So there's nothing anyone can do. So, yeah. So I'm down $2,000 basically. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. Which sucks. But yeah, they need to be stopped, Alan. They do. I mean, yeah. But I wasn't just scammed out of $2,000. I was scammed out of $4,000 or $4,001 roughly, which includes the rental cars I was got to get. And secondly, plus the Uber and taxi fares I had to get that occurred due to me having to get Ubers and taxis while I was waiting for my car to be delivered while I didn't have a rental car, which would be close to, if not, no, it would be definitely over $100. It'd be up there close to three, four, five, six, maybe $700 alone. I mean, I don't have the money to keep. Don't have the money. I mean, I moved out of home, living on my own on a disability pension, which is about $1,000 per fortnight, and I've got bills, and I've got to have food and all that, and I don't have the money to go to court for it. I can't keep fighting because of how I felt on the 14th, and I'm just glad it's over now, in a sense. I mean, I still need to get the $2,000 back at any chance I can. But other than that, there's nothing I can do. They're scumbags. They are. Anyway, they definitely need to be stopped. And I mean, they're transferring assets between companies. At the moment, give me a second. Looking up their original Telstra Essentials websites got taken down because of what they were doing after the Akana Fair story came out on the 7th of June, or 9th of June, I believe it was. They're all Australian auto transporters. And I can't believe that the government and the laws in Australia won't even help them. I mean, help the victims. And I basically went back home last week and thought about everything as well with that. And basically decided to just walk away from it. And just use it as a learning experience in regards to them. All I can say is, God damn it, it's raining. Anyway, all I can say is, I hope that nobody gets scammed from them anymore. I can even read out some of the reviews if you want. Just seconds. Yeah, all the noise in the background is rain. But yeah. Whoop, 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 whoop. Now, going back to the original topic I was talking about before I had to cover, we traced the scam. It's the fact that, yeah, basically, once I finish this stream, I'll basically be calling my father. I'm basically telling him everything, how I'm actually feeling right now, because I can't continue feeling like I am. It's not healthy. It's not healthy to feel the way I am. In regards to living on my own. But there's nothing I can do anyway. Until at least March. The more I go back, I don't care. I know I should be living here. And it's been a fun experience, but I just can't. I can't take living here anymore. The neighbors are assholes. The bills are too expensive. Especially food. I mean, you're meant to live on food, but it's so fucking expensive that you can't. I'm not kidding. You can't survive without food, but how did I expect us to buy food if it's so fucking expensive? And secondly, bills, food, and the neighbours, and the noise from the neighbours as well. It's literally a bit too much for me, and I mean, living in a unit complex, you live on your own, or depending upon the size of your unit, and you're living on your own. I'm living on my own in a unit complex where the neighbours are strangers, and I know nobody in Perth except for my friend, who I don't talk to often enough. My friend in New South Wales was going to come and live with me. He's not coming till next year, and I don't even know if I can last until next year. And then I've got like Alan in the chat. I don't know him from a bar of soap, pretty much. But he's very friendly and all that. And basically, I've got nobody else. I'm on my own. I don't know how people can live on their own. I just don't know how. Without company of some sort, you will go crazy. Like I am. But it's not stir crazy, cabin fever or stir crazy or anything like that. It's just the fact that I can't. I went back last week to Townsville to get over this, but it didn't help much. Because when I came back on Monday afternoon, I just felt the exact same way again. But when I talk to my father, because I talk pretty much daily to him, I will call him daily, I should say. I have to hide the fact that I had to hide the fact that the fact of how I'm feeling about everything. Because he says I can't come back until March. Even though I want to come back now. Or something, or do something. But I definitely cannot stay here. I mean, I want to. I'm looking forward to my meet and greets. But it's come to a point where I'm just don't feel comfortable anymore on my own. But yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, he's 5 hour. He's a 5 hour flight away. About a 6 hour, a 5 hour flight, and it's about a 1.5 hour flight away from me. In a different time zone, it's 2 hours ahead of me, and yeah, it's difficult. I probably should have thought of this beforehand, before everything, but I didn't. I was like, ooh, I want to move out on my own. Ooh, it's really cheap in Perth. I look at houses in Perth. Ooh, it's very cheap to get the house I'm junking out. Ooh, the 1 and 2 out here looks very cheap, and I might as well go for it. I'll offer them 300, even though the original rent was 290. Got the place. Ooh, my car hasn't arrived. Ooh, the internet's bad. Ooh, I have to move to another place in Perth. Ooh, I'll set the first one up for 12 months, because I'll give myself a year. Ooh, I'm gonna set it up for you again. Me. Literally. That hurt. But yeah, I'm dumb. I just don't think things through. If I had done 6 months, I could have been back home by now. I did 12 months, and because it looks more. I did 12 months because it looks more appropriate to the rental companies and to the owner. But technically I can't keep living on my own. I just can't. I mean, I've tried everything that I could do. It's just not possible. And now I have to go into March. I just have to go into March. At the earliest. And there's nothing I can do. So, yeah. I'm gonna put in a great face for YouTube and hide all my feelings. No, that's false. I am myself on YouTube, but I gotta put up a fake persona around everyone else because they can't know who I am personally. I trust you guys no more than anyone else, which is saying something because this is the public domain. So yeah. Anyway, I've got to end this off now, and I'm gonna call my father and just let him, or my dad, sorry, and just let him know what how I'm feeling at the moment, and I'll probably see you all. Well, I won't say probably because that sounds bad, but I'll see you all in the next video, which will be my Super Mario Maker 2 stream on Friday, most likely. Unless I do a video tomorrow, which I don't think I will. Okay, everyone, bye. Okay, everyone, bye.